Horrifying moments on a Brooklyn playground as gunfire breaks out. Tonight, as police hunt for the gunman and investigate a potential link to gangs, parents fear for their kids' safety. Our Nate Rogers is here with the story. Nate?
Bill, I tell you, if our children cannot be safe at the park, where else can they go to be free of danger? Now, Bushwick Playground here in Brooklyn remains closed today after 3 people were shot Thursday afternoon. Police say a fight on the playground involving a group of men led to a gunman opening fire. 2 men suffered gunshot wounds. A 3rd man was shot and later died at the hospital. The men are all in their 20s. The deceased victim was reportedly a member of the infamous Trinitarios gang, the same group charged in Lisandro Guzman Felice's death.
When this World War I change, the violence gotta stop. The violence gotta stop. All these kids are just killing people on.
Now, Bill, the frightening thing about all of this, that shooting happened at a playground in broad daylight. You had many kids there present, as well as a soccer team that was getting ready to practice for an upcoming game.
Our children are going to funerals faster than they're going to college. Our kids are picking out caskets instead of prom dresses and tuxes.
SHAWANNA Vaughan formed Silent Cry in 2013, an organization for kids affected by gun violence. Her own brother was murdered in a gang initiation plot years ago. Vaughan says she worries constantly about her children.
I worry every time they go outside, every time I take them to a public park or an amusement park, I worry.
And then finally, Bill, police say a motive for the shooting is unknown at this time. Also, there are no suspects in custody. Bill?
Scary stuff, Nate. Well, we're going to bring in our A-plus panel. Joining us tonight, we have pop culture expert Lisa Durden and our former prosecutor and defense attorney Bob Bianchi. Lisa, we're going to go to you first. This is scary. I mean, this is one of many incidents that have been going on, gang-related allegedly, in the city. As a resident, as somebody in the community, what should folks be doing? I mean, this is going on at a playground now. What should people doing?
This is a hard one for me because I'm not a parent, but I've been a kid. You don't want to start to say, keep your kids out of the park, because that's extreme. Most murders don't happen to kids in the park. But unfortunately, when something like this does happen, it's very shocking. So I would say, if you have children and you're a parent, try to do programming that's not only that, and make sure you're with your children.
Bob, so we have an incident a couple weeks ago on the Bronx River Expressway in broad daylight. This happens in a playground. What should law enforcement be doing here? What aren't they doing here?
You can't blame law enforcement for the idea that a lot of these communities are plagued with youthful, violent offenders and gang members. I say it all the time. Cops are not dealing with a genteel environment with these guys. They're murderers, they're drug dealers, they're doing bad things. They should be building relationships with the community. It's what I did when I was prosecutor. First and foremost, build a relationship with the community leaders. Number 2, you have to move from a reactive model of policing to a proactive one, which is what we call intelligence-led policing. Working with our community partners, sharing data, sharing information, and eradicating these people that are destroying these communities.
Nate, speaking of the communities, you're on the ground in the community. What are you hearing today, in reaction to this?
Sure, absolutely, Bill. I'll tell you, here specifically in Bushwick, community leaders tell me gang violence was a major problem some years ago, but they say over the last 5 years, the gang violence has gone down. Why? Because former gang members have gone out to talk to some of the young gang members to say, hey, you got to cut this out. This is something I've heard over and over again, that the onus can't just be on police. It has to be on folks that are in the community, that are involved, that can, the problem in short is there's so many gang fractions now, Bill, right? It's not just those typical gangs that we all know, but it's all of these other gangs that are spilling over. And so you kind of need those old heads to say, hey, you guys got to calm down.
Nate, that was great insight. Thanks for the story, and thank you to the panel for being here with us tonight.